Okay, Team Impact, it is Wednesday, August 27th. And if you're watching this video, part of this is going to need a calculator. So if you were at home and absent, try to find a calculator. We use the TI-34, which I'm passing out today in class. But if you don't have one, just watch the video and try and get the general synopsis of the lesson. We're going to do multiplication and division of whole numbers. So we're going to use paper and pencil for multiplication, and we're going to use the calculator for division, but we're going to end up writing them in mixed numbers if we have a remainder, which I'll get back to in a minute. Okay? All right, so let's do a little bit of vocab here. The result when multiplying numbers is called the product. Right? That's the answer to a multiplication problem. Now, multiplication can be written in many ways. For example, 2 times 3 can be written as 2 times 3. We can use a dot. We certainly can use an X, or we can use parentheses. We can write that 3 different ways. So we can use it with a dot, an X, or a parentheses. And actually, there's another way. You can use a star. But we're not going to worry about that. So you might see different ways that it's written, but we'll go from there. All right, so let's find some products here, okay? All right, so the commutative property says it doesn't matter what number I put on top. I generally like to put the bigger number on top. So commutative property just means that A times B is the same as B times A. You can switch the order of the numbers. So I like to put the bigger number on top, right? And I'm going to go ahead and set it up that way. If you want to put 27 on top, feel free to, okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply through. 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1. 7 times 8 is 56, and 1 is 57. Now, when I come to my second number, some people put in 0 there as a space saver. That's great. What you're going to notice that I do is I put an X there. That just tells me that I've space saved. And now I can start multiplying through by the second digit. It is up to you. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 8 is 16, and now we're going to add those up, right? So let's go ahead and add them. 4, 7 plus 4 is 11, carry the 1. 11 plus 1 is 12, carry the 1, and 2, and our product is 2,214. Remember, these are factors, the numbers in a multiplication problem, and the answer is called the product, okay? All right, let's slide down a little bit, and I'll let you finish up with that problem, and I'm going to set up the next problem. Number 3 is written with parentheses, okay, or grouping symbols. 652 times 16. All right, we really want to be organized here with this, okay? So, 6 times 2 is 12, carry the 1. 6 times 5 is 30, plus 1 is 31. And 6 times 6 is 36, plus 3 is 39. I'm done with the 6, I'm on to the 1. But before I start multiplying by that, I'm going to put my X for a space saver. Okay? Now I can go to the second digit. 1 times 2 is 2, 5, and 6, and let's add them up. 2 plus X, which is really a 0, is 2. 3, 9 5s are 14, carry the 1. 6 plus 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10, put a comma, and our answer or product is 10,432. Okay, so that's pretty nice. All right. I'll let you finish up there, and we're going to actually slide over to number 4 because we have a triple there. So we're going to need a double space saver, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay? All right. Again, I'm going to put the bigger number on top, which is 317, times 244, and I'm going to go from there. 4 times 7 is 28, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, and 2 is 6, and 4 times 3 is 12. I'm to my second number, so I'm going to put a space saver. Okay? Now, 4 times, and I'm going to erase this 2 because I don't need that anymore. 4 times 7 is 28, carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, and 2 is 6, and 4 times 3 is 12. Now, when I come to the third number, I put a double space saver, so I'm writing down underneath the 2. Okay? 2 times 7 is 14, carry the 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and 2 times 3 is 6, and we're going to add those up. And remember, we treat those x's like zeros, okay? So we end up with an 8, 14, carry the 1, 10 and 2 is 12, and 1 is 13, carry the 1. 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 1 is 6 and 7. And then 6 plus 1 is 7. So we end up with a product of 77,348. Okay? All right. So I had to pause there for a second. I had to cough. All right. So we're in good shape. Let's take a look at number 5. A factory manufactures 1,256 cars each month. If there are 32 factories manufacturing the cars at the same rate, that means this many per month, find the total number of cars manufactured. So let's go ahead and set this up and multiply that by 32. And remember, we have a word problem, so we want to go ahead and label this. 2 times 6 is 12, carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10, and 1 is 11, carry the 1. 5 and 2, and don't forget to space save. 3 times 6 is 18, carry the 1. 15 and 1 is 16, carry the 1. 6 and 1 is 7, and 3. And we're going to add them up. 2, 9, 11, carry the 1. 10, carry the 1, and 4. So they're going to produce in 1 year 40,192 cars in 1 year. All right? So simple multiplication of two whole numbers, not too bad. We're in pretty good shape here, okay? I'll let you get to taking in. I'm going to double check that to make sure I didn't make any mistakes, because it seems like I've been making a lot of mistakes here lately, right? And we're in good shape. Okay, let's flip it over, okay, and take a look at the back. Now, this is actually where I'm going to let you use your calculator, because long division, all right, is really kind of a dinosaur math. So everybody has a phone, and I'm not going to worry about this, but I am going to ask you to set the problem up, and we're going to take care of some vocab here, okay? But the result when dividing numbers is called the quotient, okay? It's called the quotient. That's the answer to a division problem, all right? And division can be written many ways, just like math, or just like multiplication. For example, 12 divided by 4 can be written as 12 divided by 4, or 12 divided by 4, or 12 divided by 4. A fraction's a fancy way to write division, right? So those are three different ways that we can write division in math, okay? All right. So we're actually going to use a calculator, but I'm going to ask you to set these up here, okay? And you're going to allow to use a calculator on the quiz, the test, and the homework, and study guide, whatever, right, when it's division, all right? Because long division is difficult. Okay, so let's set this up. So our first number is actually our our dividend. So we're going to actually write it like that, and we're going to set it up and divide it by 64. Okay? Now, all right, I'm going to grab my calculator, and if it comes out even, I'm fine with that. If it doesn't come out even, I'm not going to worry about it, right? Okay, so I'm trying to so where you can see that. Okay, 2, so the top number or the number inside the bracket goes first. 2752 divided by 64 is 43. So our quotient is 43, okay? And that's pretty easy there, okay? Let's slide to the next one, number 7. They wrote it a little bit differently here. First number goes inside. Sometimes I call it the house. And the other number goes outside the house, right? Okay, so go ahead and set it up. And again, we're going to use our calculator. And let's take a peek at it, right? Okay, 1,036, there it is, divided by 148. Okay, and again, we're going to come up with a quotient of 7. So let's just write 7 down. And pretty easy so far, okay? The issue is going to be coming up when we get a remainder, okay? All right, so let's continue on and go to number 8. So number 8 is written as a fraction. So we have 5,928 divided by 34. Oops, you can't see that, sorry. And go ahead and set that problem up. Okay. So the first problem, first thing we're going to do is write it down or type it in, 5928, and we're going to divide that by 34, okay? And we're going to get this big, long decimal, right? You see that? And this is why we don't get into long division. We just use a calculator, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-enter that problem into my calculator, okay? And I'm going to do it again, 5928, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a different division piece, okay? I'm going to hit second divide. And you're going to notice that it comes up to with an integer divide. What this is going to do is going to give you a remainder, all right, if there is one, okay? So we're going to divide that by 34, and you're going to see that it comes up just like that. And you can see it ends up being 174, remainder 12, okay? So watch what I do. I'm going to write 174, all right? And what I'm going to do is not write R12. What I am going to do is put this in fraction form, okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and put 12 over. Now, what do we put that number over? Well, the original denominator was 34, so I'm actually going to write that over 34. And that is the correct way. We either can take that to a decimal or we can take that to a fraction. We want to get away from remainders. Now, we actually could take this a little bit further, and I'm going to rewrite this as 174 and 12/34. And I'm going to put an equal down, okay, because this actually will reduce. It will simplify. And your calculator will do that nicely for you, okay? So let's put it in, 174. Now, I want to get that into a mixed number form. A mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. So you see this this button, U N over D, it's set up as a mixed number. Hit that, and you're going to see that it comes up as a mixed number. And then you're just going to hit the numbers 12, down arrow, 34, and you see how the cursor's blinking right there? We want to get to the right. So there it is. So there is that answer right there. And we want to simplify that. That means to reduce the fraction, okay? And we'll do more of this later, but this is kind of some foreshadowing for later. What I'm looking for is the simplify button, and there it is. You see that arrow simp? So I'm going to hit arrow simp, and I'm going to hit enter. And you're going to notice that it reduced down to 174 and 6/17. So basically, what this did was divide both of those by 2. So really, the best way to write this is like that. Okay? So let's recap what we did. I took this number and divided it by this. Before I entered 34, I hit second divide, and I ended up with a remainder of 12, 174 remainder 12. I put that in fraction form, so I put that over 34. I rewrote it, I entered this into my calculator, and I hit arrow simp, and I got down to the simplified answer, okay? All right, let's try one more of these, okay? Number 9. So the first number goes inside the house. The second number is outside the house. Okay? And I'm going to start and put that in. And I'm going to go ahead and hit second divide. And when you notice I hit second divide, look what pops up, integer divide. Now, I'm going to enter the number 78. And I'm going to hit enter, and there it is again. We have another remainder. All right, so anytime that you're dividing, go ahead and use that second divide button. And let's write down our whole number, which is 517. Remember, 65 goes on the top, and 78 will go right there on the bottom. Now, I know that that can't reduce, but I'm going to check it anyway, okay? Let's make sure that I'm correct. All right, so let's do this again. 517, and if you remember what button to use, we're using that UN over D button. We're going to enter that. And we're going to enter 65 with a down arrow and 78. And we got to get that cursor to the right, so we hit right. So you should look just like that. Now, I'll let you get caught up. And what we're looking to do is simplify this fraction. So I'm going to hit arrow simp, and you'll notice that it did reduce to 5/6. So I was wrong. So it's always good to check these numbers. So I'm going to rewrite this as 517 and 5/6, and that is the best way to write that fraction, right? Best way to write that. Okay? So that was a lot. And we're going to practice that in our homework tonight, okay? All right? So that was about 18 to 20 minutes. So I want to pause here, okay, and take a peek at the homework here, okay? So if we look at the homework, what I want you to do, okay, and go ahead and write this down. Numbers 1, 2, and 3, no calculator. You're going to do that the old school way. It's just simple multiplication. Okay? Now, when we get down to the division, I want you to use your calculator. So we can use our calc here, and our calc here, and our calculator here. We're not doing number 4. So you can put an X through it. Okay? So top 1, 2, and 3, no calculator. Down here, we are using a calculator. All right. If we flip the page, there's more. Okay. And you can see it there. I flipped the page, and let me pull up the camera there so you can see. All right. So, excuse me. Okay, so number 10 we're not doing. Number 9 is no calc. So you know you're probably going to be multiplying there, right? Number 11, 640 square miles. If she has 32 square, find the total population. All right, so no calc here. You're probably going to be multiplying there. Okay, here I want you to use a calculator. Okay, so we're going to be dividing there. All right, number 13. The orchestra section of a theater has 18 seats. If the theater plans 300 people in the section, how many full rows are needed? All right. So we're going to use a calculator here. And let's write that down. And then the last one, number 14. Carmen's truck is 24 miles to the gallon. If he plans on driving 500 miles, how many gallons will he use? We're going to be dividing here, so let's use a calculator. Okay, numbers 15 through 20 we're going to do tomorrow, so this is going to be a 2-day lesson. That's going to be mental divisibility, okay? So when you're looking at all that, that all makes sense, all right? Okay, guys, don't forget about your con. It's in the middle of the week here, so we want to make sure that we get it done. Have a good day.